Planet of the Orcs. It was written by Himataro Zukunashi. This is a light novel published by Seven Seas Entertainment. It is going to be one of their slightly larger volumes under their airship category. It is going to go for 15 US, about 19 Canadian, but in case if you were getting, you can also get it online, or if you want to get it in a book walker, it's on there as well. But and another little thing is, the art style is technically there. This is pretty much just the cover. Elsewhere in the entire light novel, there is no like full page arts in it. So if you're not into it, then probably stay away from it. But honestly, it's pretty good, and it's not like overly like descriptive or anything. But I actually pretty enjoyed it. And basically, it's a light novel about an entire, well, not an entire world, but basically the entire premise is the entire enemies is orcs, essentially. This is like what the orcs are technically supposed to kind of look like, essentially. Like almost like dog-like, but kind of have that piggish like features. They have like a mane and all that. But yeah, you have your main character right here, and then you have basically kind of like the antagonist of the story, essentially. But he gets mentioned here and there from time to time, essentially. The antagonist rides a big dog, as humans would call it, but they call it something different. The hero constantly gives some suggestions saying, hey, why can't we have peace with them? And the orcs technically have their own like side of like they're monkeys, they shouldn't be thorough existing. But essentially the orcs are like highly trained and civilized, where they actually have like magic guns and cannons, etc. While the humans are still like more of like the fantasy and kind of stuck behind. So they're kind of being impressed and driven on to near extinction. So the hero here has actually no name as far as I know currently in the story. It is just called Hero. So he basically saved 12 worlds prior, and that was just sent randomly back in the past. So he's just basically him as a hero for the human races, but he's technically being feared and eventually called the White Demon King by the enemy orc, who is called the Black Dog, which is the antagonist right here. Yeah, he eventually gets like part of his side blown out by the hero, and he's like, yeah, I want some revenge. This menace needs to be stopped, essentially. I mean, they call them like monkeys and all that. Dragons are actually kind of cool in this aspect. This is supposed to be the dragons itself. Essentially, it's supposed to be it's supposed to, instead of like its scales, these are like feathered. So he rides like a white ruby-dyed dragon, which is like very untamed, but really it's only like for that one scene, so not necessarily needed or anything like that. Oh yeah, the hero is supposed to be incredibly strong. It kind of shows, but it seems like he's pretty weak. He said he saved a couple of worlds, but he's having some kind of struggle, essentially. So it doesn't necessarily fully explain it all. But you get the Black Dog in his platoon. He's basically like an advanced cavalry kind of advanced unit in a way, but they have their own like orcish tactics, and they're more like outgoing. And they describe the orcs as something like they're intelligent only when it comes to wartime. Otherwise, they're not. In some scenes, it actually seems like the hero actually sympathizes for the orcs, or at least one scene in particular, with involving the mill. But there's that as well. It's quite, honestly, I would recommend it. It's quite entertaining in that aspect where you can essentially just like if you like the political warfare kind of thing, then this would be right up your alley. And that's honestly all I would say. Just go ahead and read it if you like the political warfare and all that. So.